Hello and welcome to Untitled Tarot. My name is Ewan and today we are looking at the Prince of Cups. Now if you haven't already, I would highly recommend looking at the playlist for the Suit of Cups that I have done, as well as having a little look at the Suit of Wands playlist, as the Wands come before the Cups in the Tarot and give much more context to the Suit of Cups. And I have also done a video about the court cards in general, and I really do recommend you watch that to have much greater context on the court cards in particular. And that is what we're going through at the moment, the court cards for the Suit of Cups. And of course, if you just want to go straight to the Divinatory Interpretations of this card, I have put a timestamp down below in the description for you. But as ever, I highly recommend watching this video through at least once before looking at the Divinatory Interpretations, so you know why those interpretations are as they are. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to look at the Prince of Cups. So as we look at this card, we see a man with aquamarine skin sitting on a violet shell-like chariot. We see this dark eagle pulling the vessel forwards over a lake which ripples with rainfall. A large lotus flower is held upside down in the prince's right hand on our left. And in his left hand, at the centre, we see this black cup with a snake coming out of it. Finally, on the prince's black helm, the only piece of armour he is wearing, we see this black eagle on top of the helmet, and we have this big whoosh of air and cloud behind our prince. So now we're going to look at the Prince of Cups in more detail. So the Prince of Cups is the heir of water and rules the last third of Libra and the first 2/3 of Scorpio. He represents balance, secrets, and subtlety within emotion. He is the water that we do not see in the air around us until a change in the atmosphere causes it to condense or become rain in the clouds. There is immense ability within the prince, and he is fully aware of that fact. But he hides his power for greater emphasis when he eventually does choose to reveal it. The Prince of Cups is just as free and courageous as his fiery cousin, the Prince of Wands, yet he is far more subtle and reserved. Not for him the brash displays of the sun, but instead the brooding clouds of a storm and the falling of rain. These characteristics are innate to Scorpio, the prince's dominant aspect. Here the sign is represented by the black eagle that we see in this card, pulling this rather Cancerian chariot. It looks like a shell. And this demonstrates the prince's emotional intuition, by the way, the Cancerian chariot. And of course, topping the prince's helm, we have this black eagle, which further emphasizes the Prince of Wands' connection to Scorpio. Eagles are, funny enough, a universal symbol that represents strength, wisdom, freedom, independence, focus, and of course transformation, which are all aspects which we could attribute to this prince. In Christianity, eagles are associated with the resurrection of Christ and are said to carry messages from God, a belief similar to that in other faiths, which see them as heralds of the Sky Father. And of course, these aren't just all qualities of our prince, very much qualities of Scorpio, in particular the ability to transform, and of course with that association with the resurrection of Christ, Scorpio's association with death. Yet this transformation is one of pain and turmoil, of course. Death is not an easy process, whether it be metaphorical or literal. And this transformation is earned through emotional lessons. And these are the lessons that we saw in the 5 and the 7 of Cups. So I do recommend going to look at those videos in the Cups playlist. And the emotional lessons are demonstrated in this card as the rain falling from the sky like tears. Although the clouds are dark and a flood may even ensue in this lake we see at the bottom, the water will transform the landscape in one way or another. And this is very much like the flooding of the Nile, which helps fertilize the otherwise barren area we call Egypt. The snake is also a potent symbol of transformation across the world, and we see the snake here in our Prince's cup. And this is because it is constantly shedding its skin and renewing itself. This concept is a parable for the ego, also a parable for time, two being one and the same, as represented by the Ouroboros and the Serpent of Eden. Time, or the ego, is a fickle and cyclical thing that sheds itself throughout our lives, yet always appears the same to itself in the present moment. And this is the concept of the snake eating its own tail and being blind to the reality. The serpentine association with venom and strangulation also hints towards the dangerous qualities of the ego. And so what has this got to do with our prince? Well, not only are snakes associated with Scorpio, but the prince is also a master of the ego, holding it fearlessly in his cup. The lotus shows us that he is enlightened and thus uses his wisdom and knowledge within the ego to transmute it in the crucible of creation, which is, of course, the mind. And this is the air aspect of our prince. This is another key quality of Scorpio, that being an ego that is able to transform itself, and of course the egos of others. And they usually do this through subtle emotional violence, whether it be for benevolent or malevolent reasons. Finally, the prince's secret nature is portrayed by the simple emission of his familiar, the scorpion. And this shows us that he may strike with the scorpion at any time and from any place, but we will never know. So now we're going to look at the divinatory interpretations of this card. And here with the court cards, I always do a little description of the type of people they may represent, as well as the general divination. So the Prince of Cups is subtlety and guile personified. He is a secret and a mysterious individual who thinks deeply about emotions and their impact on both the body and the mind. He is the evangelist of shadow work and only respects and understands strength born from emotional pain. The prince's favourite pastime is getting others, or should I say other egos, to take a look at themselves and see what they can transmute or cull from their psyche. The prince understands that the ego must be an ally to itself if it is ever to fulfill its role in providing consciousness a means to experience life. If any part of the ego, including those of others, resists, then it must be secretly murdered and reborn in wisdom. We see this technique used in motivational interviewing, whereby a therapist will subtly guide the client towards questioning their own habits and opinions in order to come to a breakthrough in their thought patterns. And these are often thought patterns that are keeping them back from recovery. So essentially helping the client come to an understanding of their own problems themselves without forcing it upon them, but being this gentle guide and asking the right questions at the right time, helps the client reach this conclusion. It's a very subtle form of communication. The Prince is the archetypal psychoanalyst and emotional manipulator. Their capacity for empathy is incredibly powerful, but also subtle, using it for either good or ill, because of course empathy is not necessarily always a light trait. Psychopaths are known to be quite empathetic, or should I say Machiavellians are very empathic. They understand people's emotions and so will manipulate them to get what they want. The Prince draws from the unconscious waters of emotion and the conscious air of thoughts to practice his psychological art, and he is a master of this craft. The Prince of Cups is primarily masculine, yet also curious and sympathetic towards their feminine side, no matter the gender. These personalities are manipulators in the broadest sense, and also have a gift for creative and artistic expression. These princes look deep into the mind, and hence tend towards psychological inquiry, yet they also make for inspiring creative mentors and romantic partners. They can also be ruthless in their pursuit for transformation, and their silver tongue their silver tongue can make them canny salesmen and negotiators as well. The Prince of Cups in divination is generally associated with emotional depth, creativity, and manipulation. They are associated with secrets, seduction, and deep passion. When well dignified, this card is sensitive, objective, emotionally deep, creative, patient, sincere, and efficient. When ill-dignified, the card represents secrets, lies, selfishness, secret murder, manipulation, ruthlessness, and cruelty. Now, if you ever meet a Prince of Cups, they may appear dark and mysterious at first, yet if they deem you worthy of their time, they will either show you the hidden depths of their mind or cultivate it to their own benefit, and also your own mind as well they will look into. And furthermore, cultivate that to their own benefit. So that has been the Prince of Cups. That's one of the more complex princes, in my opinion, of the tarot deck, and a very interesting figure indeed. Now, of course, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, it'd be great if you could leave a like on this video, as it really does help the channel. And of course, comment with any insights you've had with the Prince of Cups, anything you found interesting, any contrasts you find to, of course, the King of Cups in other tarot decks, or similarities. And indeed, if you really enjoyed what you saw here today and would like to see more videos about the Thoth Tarot deck, as well as tarot tutorials and monthly readings for each of the signs, then please do hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for being here today and watching the video, and I wish you all the best wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, and may peace be with you.